Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're on the FHG account and we're looking at more of the late game. I wouldn't even say chapter 39 at this point is end game with the amount of chapters that we do have available. But when you start getting into, in my opinion guys, kind of the late game is when you start getting into multiple formations when it comes to battles. So if you look at the 39-8 where this account is at, we are actually into 5 enemy teams. I believe the enemy teams the second enemy team starts around chapter 31. As you progress further, I believe into chapter 36, you actually start getting into the 5 teams, which means that you need 5 formations, guys, to really build. So I'm going to go through a couple of the formations that are most common. And again, these are campaign formations. Now, this is where it kind of varies greatly, guys, because a lot of the formations, due to the level deficiencies, we're seeing a lot of campaign formations that work really well, but the only place that these campaign formations work is strictly the campaign. When you take them into other game modes, the formations kind of fall apart, break apart. Even when it comes to the PvP aspect, we do not see the same. Now, the first one we're going to talk about is an old, but a very, very true one, guys, which is the Oden and Grezhul combination. Now, within here, we have Oden for the damage. We have Silas in here, and then usually Pharrell for the crowd control. So a couple of variations of this have really emerged, and that is why I wanted to go kind of the end game or late game formations, because even going into the higher chapters, guys, this is still the combination that a lot of players are using. Now, one of the changes that we've actually seen here is in some formations, Grez is actually replaced with the Awakened version of Baden, which I don't think I have on this account, but the Awakened version of Baden has kind of replaced that. In addition, guys, another one that we've kind of seen is Oden actually being replaced by Scarlet. Now, we know for so many parts of AFK Arena, Scarlet is a huge priority build, guys, within formations, and this is one of the reasons why. Oden and Grezhul, as long as they can hold the front line, Scarlet will do more than enough damage to kill everything within the formation in a very, very short amount of time. Pharrell, again, down here will work well. There's a couple, sometimes we've seen Damon in this formation. We've seen Hodgkin in this formation as kind of a crowd control buffer. There's a couple variations, again, that are kind of run within here. I've even seen Treznar even run in this formation, again, to really bring the backline together. But the core team really setting like this, as it is, works incredibly, incredibly well in formations. Again, I like the Pharrell aspect, but again, it is very dependent on the teams that you're fighting, guys. Now, that is kind of the big caveat to the campaign, is you can't really set the formations in here, kind of set it and forget it, because it is super dependent on the teams that you do have built. Now, you might have 5 different formation teams, but again, depending on who you're fighting, you might have to adjust some of those formation teams. Now, the second one we're going to look at is, of course, the Charizard, guys. Now, this one is the Charizard-Mihira combo that kind of makes up the Charizard. Running Rosaline within this formation works incredibly well. And again, it's going to be dependent on the teams that you're fighting. So within here, sometimes we do see a hero like Mishka, which again, we do have Mishka built. So we see a hero like Mishka for some crowd control. We also do see the original version of Brutus in here, again, to really buy the time to get Mihira to ult within the formation. We've also seen where Zolrath might not be in here, but a lot of players do run Leica. And again, it is super dependent on the formation that you're fighting. If it is more of a defensive formation, this will work pretty well. If it's a big burst team comp, a lot of times the heroes will die out fast. It has a lot more of an RNG aspect. And this one specifically does have a very high RNG aspect when it comes to kind of the success rate. But again, there are a couple different formations that we run in here. In addition to this, guys, we also do see Rowan in this formation. It's another one where Charizard can die, and that really doesn't make a difference. Charizard's plus 30 signature item at Mythic will actually work even though he is dead, which means, again, this formation can work incredibly well. So you could even go with something like this, again, depending on the team that you're fighting. Now, one controversial that we want to talk about, guys, of course, which is the primary formation, is Thorin. Now, traditionally, Thorin will usually be with Kelthar, and Thorin will also be with Lorzen. This is most commonly the formation that is run together. Lorzen will provide the link. Kelthar will bring over any target that will not move or has an issue moving. You can really make this work. Now, some variations of this include Pippa. Now, the big thing with Pippa, guys, is Pippa will teleport Thorin into the area of the most heroes, because the only thing you're looking to do is get everyone around Thorin. Now, in addition to this, guys, a lot of players will also run another variation of this, which of course is the 5-pole. So we see the 5-pole. This has been kind of, again, kind of a cheesy formation. The 5-pole used to be a staple formation in a lot of different ways. As of recently, it seems like Iran pulling everyone together with Skarath just to crowd them around Thorin. Again, being my main account into chapter 46 at this point. This is really what we've used it for, guys. So Kelthar will actually die, come back in that spectral form to do damage. The rest of the team will die, and Thorin will stack everyone with the 5-pole right on top of where he is. And again, the variation of this one is kind of the Pippa teleport to really work, again, with the Thorin cheese. But again, super RNG with the Thorin cheese, guys, which again, a lot of players have sometimes a tough time with, but it does work incredibly well. Now, one of the most common formations we want to talk about is Lucretia. Now, Lucretia most recently is being run with Halos, of course, because Halos will buff, if you have a built Halos, Halos will buff up Lucretia the moment that the battle starts. Lucretia will actually be the first one to get the cube, sending her damage through the roof. Now, with that being said, guys, you really want to support Lucretia. So another hero that we've seen in that I've been running a lot with her is right down here, which is Granite. Granite does have to have the plus 30 signature item. So within this formation, essentially what happens, Granite goes out, Granite dies, all the enemies are petrified. Lucretia at that point, running her with Granite, I run her back row because I want Granite to die. Now, every time that a hero dies, Lucretia is going to get a massive buff, which means she can burn down targets super quick. Now, in addition, guys, there are a couple other heroes, again, depending on the formation, depending on what you're running, is you're looking to boost up Lucretia's damage. That is really the big thing, guys. So even a lot of times in this formation, we'll see a hero like Rain in here, again, for that damage amplification aspect. And we also sometimes do see Lorzen in here, again, really to link those heroes together. Now, in addition, some players do run more of our Hypogen heroes, so you could even put in level 1 Hypogen heroes. And the big thought between this, guys, is you're getting the buffs down here. You're getting the energy recovery, the critical rate, and you're also getting the critical strike, which you could essentially run 4 level 1 heroes to give Lucretia the buffs. So giving her the ability to actually fully buff up to a full Hypogen team. But again, most recently, it is about the crowd control, the damage amplification that you're providing with Lucretia to actually build it out and make it work incredibly well. Now, a couple other formations that I see that work very well is down here with Brutus and Honesta running together with Scrag. Now, of course, Scrag does need that 9 of 9 furniture, but essentially this is kind of the new version of the Invade team. Within here, a lot of players do run Frampton in here, which unfortunately I don't have. The new Wilder hero would work the same as the Invade team. Entandro works in here. And then a lot of times if I'm running Entandro within an Invade team, I will actually run Kren just because of his crowd control, guys. Not only does he put the bombs back here, which is going to provide a stun, his ultimate ability also provides a lot of stuns in here as well, which again work incredibly well. Now, I tried to stay away from some of the Awaken heroes, guys. I do want to run through, look at the campaign formations and see again kind of the players that are using some of these formations. Now, I haven't updated this list in quite a bit, but looking through a couple of those guys, you can see crowd control teams like this work incredibly well. You have the awakened version of Tailene, you have Mishka, so having some mitigation crowd control in there. And then Leonardo Raku does work well. We see it with Khazard, we see it run without Khazard. Here we have the Zorath combination, like kind of what we talked about, but it is the Thorin cheese, guys. We have Kalthar in here, like again, what we see with Thorin and Zorath in here. Now this one is running Aziz. Of course, Aziz is going to be an energy battery, giving more energy to Thorin. You just want to make sure that he dies very quick, like you've seen here with the 0 damage. If he has the ability to ult, you're going to be in trouble because you're going to actually nerf the attack rating of the enemies, resulting in the Thorin cheese not working. Now looking at this one, it is the Charizard running Brutus and running Rowan. Like I showed you guys a little bit earlier, a very, very strong formation. And this one does work incredibly well. This one, Lucretia, again, running Rain in here, running Lorzen in there for the link. 9 of 9 Namora will be the Beguile. And then, of course, we have Treznar. Treznar just runs over to the enemy side, guys, to die anyways. Trying to keep the enemies on the enemy side will actually build up Lucretia because of the artifact that she wears. The Dual Divinity, she can stay on the enemy side and just absolutely crush the campaign formations. And then, of course, the Oden and Grezhul with Scarlet, guys. You can see Oden is in here. Oden provides a lot of crowd control within the formation, quite a considerable amount of damage, but he also does the energy disintegration, so very strong. Stylus, of course, the heals and the buffs in here to amplify the damage that we're seeing on Scarlet, but overall, Grez putting out a lot of damage in these formations, guys. Even looking at some of the larger players, again, running Belinda in here, but again, a lot of the formations, unless you're very, very close to the level deficiencies, even here, it looks like the levels of the player, they were just able to kind of run over with anything, not really making a ton of formations that we see within metacomps, but being able to run even Shamira in there, guys, just for the simple fact that the levels are so much higher. Now, really with these teams, guys, you really have two options, and we've said this before. When it comes to meta formations, either you're going to, one, build some of the meta formations, but again, looking through some of these, a lot of the heroes are not utilized outside of the campaign specific. So they are very, very campaign specific. Like Kalthar, you're not going to use. Zorath, you don't really use. Aziz, not really many places. But again, Thorin, you're not going to use. Even looking at the Charizard, guys, this is a formation I don't believe is in the Cursed Realm anymore. You might use Khazard. Brutus isn't really used. Rowan really isn't used. Rosaline is, but Mahira is not. Lucretia is still used in quite a few. So again, some of these heroes, you're still going to find some utility with them outside of the campaign mode, but a lot of these are going to be specific for the campaign, and that's really the only place that they're going to be utilized. So, all right, guys, so that'll do it for today's video. Just wanted to show you kind of a quick rundown of a couple different formations. Since we've had some updates with AFK Arena, honestly, going into formations, checking out the availability, seeing what heroes you match. So that is the thing. If you guys have caught my live streams, any of my videos, I go through here, I see what I have. It will build me formations in here based on heroes that you do have available. This is what you got to be careful with, is if there is heroes in here that you do not have built, a lot of times within campaign formations, you're not going to be able to run them. I cannot stress that enough, guys. If you're going through and you're making campaign formations, if there are heroes specifically that you do not have built, like Treznar, I have him at level 1, it still puts him in here. It might be a hero that I do want to swap out for someone else at that point. Again, functionality-wise, you want to make sure that the heroes are built that you have in here, because it is going to be imperative that they are built to a certain level, or again, a lot of the formations do fall apart. But all right, guys, so that'll do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and as always, thank you guys for watching.